Hello everyone, my name is MYSQLI Paul. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a website using PHP and MySQLI connectivity. So we use PHP mainly to transfer data from one page to other pages. So it is very useful when your website has multi pages, and most of the pages most of the websites are multi-paged. And we use MySQLI to basically save the data that has been given as an input to your website and retrieve the data whenever you want it to. Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you a website called Digital Diary. So in my application, my diary actually makes the user to register themselves with the diary first, and then using the username and the password, it will let them log in to the home page. So once they get into the home page, they can actually give their diary entries for each date, and they can click the save button. And what will happen, all this diary entry that they gave along with the date on which they made the entry, and also the details like the name, address, etc., which was given during the registration time, all this will be saved in the database. And whenever they wanted to retrieve or see their previous entries or their profile, they can just see it by just clicking a button. So what actually happens is, in the background, the MySQLI is playing the role. So this MySQLI will take the input of my website, that is a name or the diary entries, and will save its data in the website, in the database, and retrieve it whenever the user wants it to. Okay, so here I'm actually using a server called exam server as my local host, and in that I've created a database called diary, and my diary has two tables in it. The first one is the list table. So in the list table, I actually have 8 attributes. That is the first name, the last name, the username, password, email, address, zip code, and the phone number of the user, and the entry. So you can see over this is the attributes of my list table. Okay, so here you can see I have created the username as the primary key of my list table. Okay, now let's get into my entry table. So in this entry table, I'm actually saving all my diary entries that is created, that is made by my user. So this is the structure. I'll show you the structure of my diary entry table. So it has basically 3 attributes. The first one is the date, second one is the entry, and third one is username. So I will retrieve the entry date using the username and also by the date. Okay, so this is my table. It is very easy to create a database using exam. So you just have to install the exam and then run it, and type localhost and give your port number, and then just put /php myadmin. So it will open this page, and you can simply create your own database by clicking on the new button, and then just follow the flow, give the database name, and then just follow the flow. Okay, now I'll show you my application. So this is my application as a digital diary. So this is the registration page where the user can come and register themselves. So you can see I'm going to give a name so that I can register myself with it. So that is the name that I'm going to give. They asked for me the last name so I'm giving the last name. Then I'm going to give a username which will be used by my index, by a login page to let the user log into my home page. Here you can see I've entered some names. So I've given the username as Anata and then password as Naruto. So I'm going to register it. So when you can see, whenever I click on the register button, if the name hasn't already been taken, it will say as a username has been taken. And as soon as I click on the OK, I will again be redirected to my index. So there is a mechanism to stop duplicate name. As I already said, my database list has a primary key called the username. So username cannot repeat more than once in the database. So I'm going to use some other name as a username. Maybe I'll give some other name which is not already in my database. So I've given some other input and I'm going to register. So you can see as soon as I click on the register button, it gives an alert box telling it's successfully registered. So now I'll be redirected to my login page. So this is my login page, so where I'm going to use my username and my password to get into my home page. So my username was Sharon, and I'm going to give the password. So let's log in. So you can see as soon as I log in, I am redirected to my home page. So this is my home page where I'm going to make my diary entry. So this is a place where I'm going to give my entry, and here you can see at the top of the page the username, that is a Sharon. The name is being used to welcome the user. So it actually does the PHP is the one who's playing the role over here. So it uses the global variables to exchange page from one page to other, which I'm going to come very soon. So using the global variables, I have taken the username and displayed it on my screen. And this is the logout button. So it is a clickable image where as soon as I click on the image, I will logged out of my website. So here you can see I have displayed the date. So today is 10th of November 2016. So you can see it has been displayed on my web page. So what it does, I don't have to give my date manually. It automatically takes date from the system. So whatever the date my system is adjusted to, set to, that will be taken and will be displayed on my web page. So here I have 3 more buttons which will help me to go from one page to other page. Okay, so I'm going to make some entry over here and show you in the database if it's getting saved or not. So I'm going to I'm going to write some information, some text. So I'm telling that hi, I'm Sharon. Okay, now I'm going to click on the save button. So you can see I get an alert box telling successfully inserted. So after inserting, I will be redirected back to my home page where I can make an n number of entries. Okay, so now let's see if my entry has been saved or not in the application. So I'm going to click on the button called My Entries. So you can see when I click on the My Entry, I get a page where all my entries are being seen. So I'm going to make one more entry over here. So that would be hey, how are you? And you can see even this will be displayed on my my entries page. You get a message called successfully entered, and when I click on the My Entries, you can see both my entries has been displayed over here. So this button is useful for searching a particular entry of a date. So here the problem is that both the entries are the same date. So if I search using the same using this date, I'll get both this entries. It will look as if the same page has been loaded again. So to do that, I'm going to manually enter some data. Manually enter data to my database with some other entry, some other date, with some other date with the same username. So that we will have many options over here, and I can show you how the search button works. So you can see over here I've made some manual entries into my application. That is actually what I did was I just changed the date of my computer. So according to the date of my system, my website has changed its date. So now right now it is in 25th September. So you can see I made some 2 entries. I'm going to show you how the search button is going to work. So I'm going to give the search a date over here. So I'm going to search 31st of October. So the month is 10, the date is 31st, and the year is 2016. So as soon as I click on the search button, you can see that only the entry that is recorded on the 31st of October is been displayed in my screen. So and now if I wanted to delete only this entry from my database, from my website, I just have to click on this delete button, and you can see over here that I get a message telling successfully deleted, and then after deleting the stuff, I have been redirected to my to the page where I display all my entries. So here you can see you can't see the entry which was made on 31st of October. It has been deleted permanently. That is how the search button and the delete button work. Okay, so now another option is this. Okay, let's get into my new entry page. Here you can see in the first page I have another option called My Profile. So when I click on this button, you'll see that I'll get a page which has a profile of me. So all the information that I gave to the website when I register myself will be displayed over here. I just have to click on the profile pic and profile button, and you see the name, the first name, the last name, email address, zip code, phone number, all is visible over here. And if I wanted to edit this name, if anything I want to edit it, I just simply have to click on the edit button. So I will be redirected to my update page. So here I'm going to change my first name and the other stuff. So let's change my first name to some other name. So I'm just simply going to change all the stuff, but let it be okay, some other address. I'm going to change the whole stuff, and let's see if this thing works or not, if the updating works or not. So I've given some number, I have changing the phone number, and I'm going to click the button called update. So you can see as soon as I click on the update button, I get thing called successfully updated alert box. So when I click on the OK button, I will be redirected to my the same page, and now I'm going to see if my things has been updated or not. So I'm going to click on my profile, and here you can see it has just changed the whole stuff. So first it was Sharon Rai, now it is Kriya Rai, and my email ID has also been changed. So all my new information that I gave has been updated to my profile pic. Okay, so now okay, I will also show you how to reset my password. I also have an option to reset my password. So here you can see there's a chance there's a button telling give the old password and the new password. So it's like a security constraint. So I'll give the old password and then give the new password. So it will check if my old password is the old password that I give is similar to the password which is saved already in the database. So so anyone, a random person cannot who does not know your password cannot change your password with your application. So I'm going to give a wrong password first. So my password was D3, so I'm going to give D4. So and let it by my password with the same one. So let's see. When I click on the update button, it says the old password does not match. So I purposely gave a wrong password. You can see it gives an alert and the old password does not match. And after giving the information, I will be again redirected to the same page. So now I'm going to give the real password, which was D3, and I'm going to change it to okay, and I'm going to click on the update button. So here it says successfully updated. Now the password, when the old password is matching to my database, it says it's successfully updated. Okay, so that's all with my application. This is all that I can do with my application. So this is where I make the entry. So let's see if my password has been updated or not. So I'm going to click on the logout button, and you can see as soon as I click on the logout button, I will be redirected to my login page. So I'm going to use the new password that I kept, that was the same name. So let's see if I'm again coming into my home. Yes, I am coming. I changed my password. You can see first of all just two letter password of D3, and now I've given another password and I came back to the same page. So this was my application. Now let's get into my coding to see how did I code it. So this is my coding. So this is my first page, that is the index page, where I ask my user to give the registration, to do the registration by giving the name. So I'm using the form elements, form tag, and inside that I'm using the input tags to get the inputs from the user. That is the F name, it is a first name, last name, username, password, email address, zip code, and phone number. So as soon as and there's a submit button. So the form's action properties redirects the form to the register.php page. So after entering the submit button, I will be redirected to my register button. So here is where I'm going to register the user with my database. Okay, so first of all, I'm getting the inputs that was given by my user into my page. So I'm actually just taking the username, password, and email using the global variables called $_post. Inside that, I'm giving the name of the tags from where the input tags from where the user gave their inputs. So using this variables, I'm going to check if this if there a duplicate name exists or not. Okay, so before that, I'm going to connect my IDE with my server. To do that, I'm going to make a connection object that is I'm given a name for my connection object as CONN. Then I'm using the syntax called MYSQLI connect localhost root, and I'm giving the password. So the localhost is the name of the host. The second one, the root, is a username by which I'm going to access my exam server, and there's no password. Okay, so by using the query called MySQLI select DB and the connection object, I'm going to select my database. Okay, so after this, so I took the wrong register page. This is the real one, that is a database. That was the register page for some other project. Yeah, So here you can see that I've taken the name using the global variable. I've taken all the variables or the inputs that was given by the user, all the names, all the addresses and everything, and then I've connected myself connected with the database using the query MySQLI connect. Then I selected the database diary, and then I've executed a query, that is MySQLI query, using the MySQLI query function, and the query is select star from list where username is whatever input the user has given. So with this syntax, I'm going to check if there is a duplicate name exists or not. So I'll check if the count of the result that was given by my database is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, that means a name is already existing. That's why a name was retrieved from the database. Okay, so if it is not, then I will insert my data into my database. So I'm using the query that is insert into list values, and I'm giving all the values that was inserted by my user. So after inserting into my username, I'm going to give an alert telling successfully register, and then I have used the script over here to redirect myself from my register page to the login page. So now let's get into my login page. So this is my login page where I ask my user to give the username and the password. So you can see I also given the style for each page. So the whole style for each page is different. Yeah, so over here you can see I've used a form element, and inside that I've given the input tag to take the username and then the password. Then there's a submit button. So as soon as I submit, click on the submit button, you can see the action attribute of my form tells it is check login.php. So I will be redirected to my check login.php page. So let's get into my check login.php page. So this is my check login.php, where I'm actually going to check if my username and the password matches with the entries that is inside my database. So I have taken the details given by my user in my login page into my check login page by using the global variables, that is underscore post. I'm using the underscore post global variable because the method which was used to submit my data that was inputs of my data of my form was by the method post. That's why I'm using the post method, post global variable. If the method was get, I would have used the get variable. Okay, so I've taken the names and the password, and then I've connected with the database and selected the database, and then I'm executing a query telling select star from list where username is equal to the username given by my customer or the digital diary user. Okay, so it will retrieve all the details which has the username as the one given by my user. So now after getting that thing, I will I will execute it, and then I will check the count of my query. So by doing that, I will use a query called MySQLI num rows, and then whatever number comes into the exist on the attribute called exist or the variable called exist, I will check if it is greater than 0, and if it is greater than 0, that means it already exists. So now I'm going to retrieve the data, and to retrieve the data I'm going to use a query that is MySQLI fetch associate. So inside that I'm giving the query that is select star from list where username is equal to username. So now after by using this query, I'm actually extracting the data which was retrieved and was stored in the query in the variable called query. Now I will extract it row by row, and I'll check if the data that was retrieved is equal to the one given by my user. So this is I'm actually putting the data which was given by my database into the variable called table user, and similarly the password to table password. And then in the next line you can see I'm checking if the username is equal to the table user, that is the username given by the user is equal to the name which is already entered in the database. Similarly I'll check for the password, and if both the condition meets, then I'll create a section variable user, and then I will redirect I'll give permission for my user to get into the home page. And here you can see if it doesn't satisfy the condition, then it will give an alert telling the incorrect password, and I will redirect my customer back to my login page. So this is how I check if there is if my user is an authorized user or not. Okay, so now let's get into my home page. There is a next page if the user actually clears the authentication part. So this is my home page. So here you can see in the home page, actually I have started a section over here first, and I've taken the section user from the previous page. The section is basically used to transfer data from one page to other page. So yeah, I can see I have taken the date. So this is how I display my date automatically. I use is a simple PHP function, which is a predefined function to just take the data from my date from my system, that is date, and inside the function y/m/t. So that's all I have to do, and have actually displayed it by using the property the statement called echo. Okay, so in this you can see I have created 3 buttons by using, I have created that, I have made the button as a clickable button using the anchor tag over here. So similarly I created 3 buttons, and the address I have given to that particular page wherever that I wanted to direct my user whenever the user clicks on the button. So my profile button will be redirected to the profile.php page. My entries will be redirected to my search.php, and my settings buttons will be redirected to my update.php. Okay, so in this I am actually if you remember my web page, there's only was only one thing that was taken from my user, that is a diary entry. So here is where I take my diary entry. I use the form again, and inside that I've given a test area, and test area is a big box. I have actually adjusted the width and the height of the test box to make it that big, so it looked like something like this. So here you can see I have actually adjusted the test box size, given some width and some height, and this was the buttons I was talking about. And yeah, okay, so this was given in a form. So you can see, and then I've given a submit button. So as soon as I click on the button, I will be directed to my add.php. so this is the add.php is a page which will add my data entry into my database. So let's get into my add.php page. This is my add.php page. Again, it's completely PHP. So first I've started the section over here, and then I've taken the username using the section variable, and inside that again I use the same format to display my date. And then I've connected to my database by using the query MySQLI connect, and then selected my database using this query called MySQLI select DB. Then I've given the connection object and the name of my database, and then finally using the MySQLI query to insert my entry into my table called entry. So the syntax is MySQLI query data object insert into entries username entry. These 3 are the attributes of my table, I already told you, and the values are user, entry, and date. Okay, so as soon as I enter into it, I'll be giving an alert telling successfully inserted, and then after inserting I will be redirected back to my home page. Now I also spoke about a profile page. So the profile page is actually displaying all the details of my user. So this is my profile page. So here again I'm using the global variables to take the the data from other pages. So here I'm going to take the data from the database. So I'm going to use my MySQLI queries to retrieve data from my database. So you can see over here, this is how I am actually displaying it on my web page. That is, I'm first connecting with my database, and then selecting the database, and then I'm executing the query called select star from list where username is user. So I'm going to retrieve all the data that has been registered by the name the user. So you can see over here I am executing I'm actually running a while loop, and inside that I am fetching my data from my database, that is by using the function called MySQLI function array, and I'm displaying it using PHP echo statement. So I'm using the row variable to retrieve the data. Okay, so this is how I display it, and finally you can see there's an edit button. So whenever I click on the edit button, I will be redirected to my update page. So where update page is a page where I can give my new information to my application, where it will get updated. So this is my update page. So here same, I'm going to connect myself first with my MySQLI first with my server, and then I'll select the database. So here you can see I've given some styling, and then the buttons, and over here. Okay, so this is the place where I'm asking, prompting my user to give the new updates. So this is again a form, so the user will give all the informations into this, and it will be saved, and will be then after clicking on the edit button or the update button, I will be redirected to my update button. So the update button is the one who does all the stuff. So here also there is one place where I will be resetting my password. So this is my update page. Yeah, this is my update page over here. So you can see over here that I have given some conditions to check if my page has been set or not. So I'm checking if the user has given some name or not. So if it is given, then I will use a global variable and put it to my variable, and then similarly I have taken the variable value from each for each variable that is given by the user. So I'm actually taking all the information given by my user. There's a new information, storing it to my variable using my global variables, and then finally I am inserting into my database. So I'm using the MySQLI query function again. Using the connection object, I'm executing the query, that is update list set fname is equal to the variable lname, email address, zip code is equal to zip code, phone is equal to phone, and the condition is that where the username is equal to user. Or if it is not updating, it will give an error by stopping the execution. So if it is successfully updated, then it will give an alert box telling successfully updated, and then after updating, it will again redirect to me to my update page, where I take the input from the new input from my user. So there is one more page called the reset password page. So this is the page where my the password will be resetted. So it will first, as you remember, it first took the old password from the user, and then the new password from the user, and it checks if the old password matches to the password which is already saved in the database, and if it does not, it gives an alert telling the user that the old password does not match. So this is where the thing is done. So I'm taking the old password and the new password into a variable, the things that was given by inputs that was given by the user into two variables, and then I'm connecting myself with the server, and then selecting the database over here, and then I'm executing the query, that is select password from list where username is equal to user. So I'm taking the password from the database and storing it into the the variable called result, and then by using the MySQLI fetch array, I'm actually executing I'm retrieving or fetching the data which has been retrieved from the database already. So I'm checking if the password that I got from the table matches to the password that was given by my user or not. So this is a statement where I check it, that is if *row password is equal to $old password, and then if it is true, only then the update will take place, that is update list set password is equal to new password where username is equal to user, or it will die by giving a MySQLI error. And then it will give an alert box saying successfully updated, and it will redirect me back to the update page. And suppose if the old password and the new password does not match, that is the if condition is not satisfied, then it will come to the else condition, that is it will give an alert telling the old password does not match, and it will again redirect me to the same place to give the new inputs. So that's all with my application, and I hope that you all like the application, and thank you so much for watching.